Welcome to Mayo Music. I am your host, Dan Pulaski. Mayo Music is an interview series where I chat with musicians, artists, and producers about their journey in the music industry. I try to break down their successes and failures, and I try to pinpoint the specific things they did, the steps they took, and the decisions they made to get to where they are today. Today I spoke with Element, aka Chris Cruz, a San Francisco-based EDM producer. He is brand new to the scene, but has already built a nice following online. His first 3 tracks have already racked up over 300,000 listens on SoundCloud. In this interview, we talk about how he is able to get so many listens on these first 3 releases, different techniques he uses to reward his fans who show him love, how a strategic collaboration put his music in front of an international audience, and we also talk about the value of learning music theory as a producer and the importance of building your own sounds. Let's do it. All right, Chris. So, my first question for you, I guess it's going to be kind of a long question. I'm going to kind of set this up. So you released Play It Dirty, which was your first track. You released that in December. You put that out on SoundCloud. It did really well. Then you released your second track, Ina, about a month ago, roughly a month ago. And between the two of them, you've racked up over about 250,000 listens so far on SoundCloud. And then I think it was just about a week ago you released your first remix, and that's done over 20,000 listens already. So what I want to know is, how did you do that? And how, more importantly, how did you do it so fast? And so I guess to kind of start off, let's start with Play It Dirty. You released that track on SoundCloud. How did you initially start driving traffic to it from day one? Once you decided it was ready to release, like, what were some things you did?
Well, day one, I actually had a large amount of followers in the beginning. Beforehand, I used to be a rap artist, and I generated a lot of followers from there. And ever since then, I've been able to network with a lot of club promoters, a lot of really big influencers in the music and nightlife industry. So a lot of connections were really intertwined with what I was doing. So on day one, I've already had that track in the hands of probably 300 DJs that were local, and all of them pretty much posted my music and reposted and shared it to their friends. So that's one of the major factors. Also, one of my main things I did was I actually gave the track to a lot of people that supported me throughout my entire career as a music artist. So with that being done, there was a lot of hype built up for it on Twitter. Twitter was pretty much the main culprit of getting all these plays on SoundCloud.
I see. Cause you have, what, like 40K plus on Twitter followers?
Yeah. I think I just broke like 45 this week. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Pretty dope. Yeah.
So in essence, you really weren't starting from zero when you released Play It Dirty. You had already. Did you already have a following on SoundCloud, or not really?
It was decent. It was all right. It was definitely not a following from EDM. My old account actually was all just rap and hip hop, and I took that down right before I transitioned into EDM. So it's pretty much a fresh new amount of individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So was there anything else you did? Did you, besides just emailing your current connections and people you already had, did you reach out to the blogs at all or anything like that?
I did in the beginning. It was really hard to get attention from blogs, just because there's a lot of people just funneling and pummeling traffic into their emails. Like, they're pretty much getting over 500 emails a day with different songs. So I mean, I did try in the beginning, but it seemed like they started paying attention once I broke like 60K listens. That's when they actually started paying attention. So I got blocked, or I got reposted by EDM Tunes, which is huge. EDM Tunes is one of the biggest EDM blogs on the internet, and a few other blogs overseas actually started reposting it. So that definitely helped a lot.
So how did you reach out to EDM Tunes and say, hey, I have this track, it's getting a lot of traction on SoundCloud. I think you guys would really like it. Is that what you did, or how'd that happen?
Yes. Well, so the way they do it is there's a submission process. The way it's set up is you actually have to donate about $5 or $10 to submit your track, and they pretty much go over the track, listen to it, and if they like it, they'll repost it on SoundCloud or blog about it. My first few tries, I sent it and I didn't get any response, and I was assuming that it was probably because there was too much traffic. But now, ever since there's been a lot of traction on the track, they definitely started paying attention to it, and they were open ears and they reblocked it.
Is there like a space, I'm assuming, in the form to like have some text that you include a message to them?
Unfortunately, no. They actually
really?
don't. Yeah, it's just pretty much a SoundCloud link, a Facebook link, and that's it. So
Really?
I couldn't even hook up my Twitter account, so they didn't even get to see.
So basically, or sorry to cut you off there. So basically, you submitted to EDM Tunes several times, you said?
Yeah, probably like three or four times.
Okay, and so each time I'm assuming they might have looked at it, checked it out, but the views were so low, you didn't think there was like, they didn't feel there was enough validation to repost it, I guess?
Yeah, to be honest, that's my hypothesis. Every single track that's on there that gets reposted or shared has at least like 10,000 plays. So I mean, it's understandable. Like coming from a business standpoint, like you're not going to want to just put someone on that doesn't have any traction.
Yeah, well, it's more risky that way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I see. Okay, cool. So now I had a question for you. Play It Dirty was the first track you released. I Know was the second, and they're both original mixes. That's not something producers usually do, I feel like. Most producers, it seems like these days, start off with a few remixes before they release their first original mix. How do you think that has kind of helped you in these early stages?
You know what? To be honest, I've always juggled with that issue of either remixing or starting out with original mixes. But when it came down to it, I was a new producer. I was new to the scene. I still was learning arrangement. I was still understanding how the entire workflow of and a big room house song would be structured, and I was still discovering my sound. So if I remixed a song, I would have been able to like develop a specific sound that I can call my own. So when I really felt strongly about that, I started deciding that I wanted to become a producer that can create his own original mixes, and later on, when I want to, I can remix a song. But I definitely wanted to build my sound first, and I feel like I'm able to develop off the sound that I've made with Aina and Play It Dirty.
Okay. Did you find it almost easier or more novel? That you were like coming right off the bat with an original, and like, did you feel like people were like, oh, it's not just another remix of this song that I've heard remixed a bunch of times. It's like some original stuff, and it's like it's good. Like this guy's really coming strong right off the get.
Yeah, you know what? Like a lot of people started paying attention to me more ever since I dropped Play It Dirty, and I actually compared it to their reactions from the remix I currently did and the two original mixes that I did before, and it seems like there's more strong passion towards the original mixes. So for me personally, I'm a strong believer in making original mixes just because people get attached to your song versus the other person's song that you're remixing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so we talked a bit about Play It Dirty. You blast that out to your kind of existing network. Now, Aina, you did something a little bit different on that one. That's actually a collaboration with Knighthood, correct?
Yes.
Um, how did you get linked up with those guys? And kind of tell me about why that collaboration made sense, and I guess how the collaboration made the track successful.
So they actually approached me on SoundCloud after they heard "Play It Dirty," and they gave me a pretty interesting offer. So the collaboration started with a SoundCloud message, pretty much telling me if I collab with them and do most of the production, I can they can guarantee "Play It Dirty" and Aina getting played in Paris all the way through summer. They pretty much are booked all the way up until the end of August as of now. And what we did was we pretty much went through SoundCloud, a private track on SoundCloud, and constantly re-uploaded, produced, re-uploaded tracks and of Aina, and pretty much worked through SoundCloud. So another interesting thing that we did to make it work was we actually utilized the comments on SoundCloud, and since it was private, no one else would be able to see. So a lot of work was efficiently done through SoundCloud.
Oh, that's awesome, because you were able to leave a comment right at the time spots in the track
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So like if he didn't like a build or he didn't like a drop, or I personally didn't like a part and I was going to replace it later, I could let him know, and it definitely helped out a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, kind of along the same lines as that track. Or actually, I guess I should ask you, did you do anything different for Aina in terms of getting it in front of people, in terms of any other methods of emailing other blogs or trying to leverage what you did with Play It Dirty to get more traction on Aina?
Yeah, so I actually use this CRM service called Kit, and pretty much what it did was it allowed me to analyze my top followers on Twitter, and what I did with that was I actually gave them a preview of the track a week earlier. I sent them a private track, and they pretty much got so excited that they just started tweeting about the track. And
let me just interrupt you real quick. That was kitcrm.com. Is that the one? Okay. Just wanted to give them a little shout out.
Yeah.
Okay, so you figured out who your top followers are on Twitter, and then you sent them a DM of the SoundCloud, the private SoundCloud track.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And that like got a pretty good response, or you got like a decent level of engagement from it?
Yeah, I've actually have gotten a response from every single person I've sent it to, so it was definitely awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and once it got out, those people that I sent it to blasted it to every single person that they have in contact with, so it was definitely awesome.
That's interesting. And one of the things that kind of stands out to me doing it that way is like I get like on SoundCloud I follow a ton of people and I get a lot of private tracks shared my way.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that like you did that and then shared it privately but then messaged them on Twitter, it adds kind of another element of that you really went out of your way to like make sure that you wanted it to get in my hands kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like I really feel strongly about not spamming people. I've never used any type of spam on any kind of promotion that I've done. I barely even tweet my music. The only tweet about my track you will ever see is when it's actually uploaded to SoundCloud. I strongly feel that you have to personally engage with your fans and individuals so that they feel like they're actually getting in contact with the artist instead of, hey, hear my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of along those lines of getting people listening to music early on. How have you been able to get feedback on your tracks before you release them? I know you talked about doing the private ones, but is there anything you do before that, even before you decide like, it's ready for anyone to listen to outside of, yourself?
Yeah, definitely. So I actually have a circle of individuals that I trust, and I definitely love their taste in music. So what I do is I actually send them the track individually without them knowing that I'm sending it to other people, and I get explicit, unfiltered feedback from them. And any kind of feedback that I feel and completely agree with, I definitely take it and rework the track. Um, and these go from people from individuals who just like music and love and are really passionate about music to even engineers who have been in the game for like 20 years. And I feel strongly that you need both because the person that just loves and enjoys music has a completely different understanding of the person who's been experienced and knows that your compression is wrong and your lows are conflicting with each other's frequencies. So
Hmm.
it's definitely important to have feedback from both of those kind of people.
That's awesome. Um, Going back to your collaboration with Knighthood in Paris, um, you kind of touched on it earlier too, that your music has really reached like an international audience. Did you do anything specifically to do that, or did that just kind of happen?
To be honest, it just pretty much kind of happened. I really believe that it happened once Knighthood started tweeting about my music and started playing Play It Dirty overseas and just sharing it with their network of people, and somehow it just started spreading to other countries. So I mean, it was definitely awesome. A few radio stations hit me up for guest mixes. I did a few for them, and ever since then, it's just been country after country. So it's pretty awesome. It's definitely a blessing, but it pretty much just came one after the other.
Ah, very good. I got another just general question for you. What DAW do you use right now?
Right now, I use Logic Pro 9.
Did you Was that something you were using when you were producing hip hop and stuff before, or
No, no,
give
actually,
me your quickly, just give me your kind of progression
yeah.
of software from when you first started doing anything with sound.
So when I first started producing, it was about 6 or 7 years ago. I started with Fruity Loops actually. I just did it just to get a grasp of how production is and how it was organized and arranged. Fruity Loops is definitely something that's really good to start off with. Um, and after I stopped doing hip hop, a few years later, I started getting interested in EDM production, and I did a little research on what um, what software was really good to use, and pretty much what I felt really comfortable with was Logic. I've seen all the other softwares, but I really feel like it's all about what you're comfortable with. If you don't feel comfortable with Logic, then use Ableton. If you don't feel comfortable with Ableton, then use Logic. There's so many producers that still use Free Loops as well. I really firmly believe that it isn't the software that makes the music. It's the music artist.
Mhm. Cool, cool. Um, well, do you have any other? We kind of talked about how you kind of already had an existing kind of following to kind of use to build your audience on SoundCloud. Do you have any just kind of general advice for a producer just getting started who kind of has a small following that's struggling to get listens um, on SoundCloud?
I would I would tell them to appreciate every single listen that they get. Contact any individual on Twitter. Do not spam them. First of all, but definitely show love to every single individual that shows love to you on Twitter. Even if it's just one a day or two a day, it'll end up gaining momentum. And when people start seeing that you're getting all these tweets from other individuals, they will start paying attention to you. And that's pretty much how this following grew. Was I just retweeted every single individual that showed me love, and I showed love back. So definitely appreciate everything.
So appreciate your 10 listens. Hope they'll tell at least a few of their friends, and then appreciate those 20 listeners, and then just slowly go from there.
Exactly, man.
Cool. Well, I got two final questions for you, and then I'll let you go.
Yeah.
So first one, I know it's kind of early on with things, but has there anything that you've done so far that you felt was a big mistake, and that you would hate to see other up-and-coming producers make?
Yes. Learn music theory. One of the most important things is a lot of producers get in the game and just start from scratch and without knowing anything. They might go on YouTube and figure out how to use a synthesizer, but without learning how to arrange music, whether it's hip hop, EDM, or even classical, if you don't know the arrangement, you don't know your scales, your chords, any theoretical musical knowledge, you won't able to succeed or even get past that first slump. My first mistake was that I actually learned how to synthesize sounds before I learned music theory, and it was a hurdle, but I definitely understood what I needed to do, and ever since then, I definitely excelled, and I'm still constantly learning, by the way. But it's definitely been a huge help.
What do you recommend using to learn that?
If you're an EDM producer, there's a YouTube channel I really recommend. If you YouTube EDM music theory, there's a guy called Connecta that will pop up, and he has about 50 YouTube videos about the arrangement of EDM music and how arpeggios and ostinatos and how scales should work and creating melodies. All that stuff definitely will help create the type of producer that you need to start off with.
Awesome. I'll throw a link in the description.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, is there anything you feel you've done really well so far? I know we've kind of touched on some things, but if there's just one thing you could point out, maybe something different than we've already talked about, that you think other producers can look at and say and replicate and say, I should do that too.
Yeah, another important thing is design your own sounds. I know I said do learn EDM music theory or music theory in general first, but another important thing that you have to do as a producer is you need to design your own sounds, presets, anything that you can buy and download and just load up onto a synthesizer and just load up and play. Like that's gonna create a sound that's already been made. There's a lot of like sound packs that are out online, but you're pretty much going to end up sounding like the producer that sound was designed after. So a huge advice that I have is to design your own sounds. Play it dirty. I know all the synths that are in there, they all were designed from scratch. So definitely craft sound design.
Awesome. Well, that's all I got for you, Chris. Thank you for coming on.
For sure, man.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Yeah.